What made you come to Ghana?
Well, an opportunity showed, and at that time I wasn't even in Kenya. I was in South Africa. And,
oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in South Africa, and the opportunity came for me to come to Ghana to work at the financial institution I spoke about. Probably I will let the bag out of the secret out of the bag shortly. But yeah, so it was an opportunity to do something that was quite new in the financial industry, and I jumped on it, and I'm here.
Okay, great. How do you like it in Ghana so far?
Well, being Kenyan, lived in South Africa, now in Ghana, I love Ghana. Obviously, I think my fellow Kenyan will agree to this. The peace in Ghana is something that you pay for.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of peace, and just jumping on it, right? The food too, the variety of food is good. So I love the peace. My family is here as well. We love the moralness of
modernness. Yeah.
The moral.
The model.
Moral, how moral the society is. Compared to maybe South Africa, where there's a lot of influence of the modern society. So it seems like a good place to raise your kids. So my family is here, and we love that aspect about it. We love the peace, and we love the food.
Oh, congratulations. We'll talk more about food later, because you said it twice. You said you work in the financial district. What do you do in the financial district?
So I am a user experience designer.
Okay, say that again.
User experience designer.
User experience designer. I got it. Give me examples of a user experience designer. So like when the app asks me how many stars do I want to give, and I say 2 stars.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so you're the one who actually reads it, or how does that work for you?
So basically, we the brain behind those sort of ratings, wanting to know whether whatever we put to you to use is usable enough, and you appreciate it in that sense. So that's why you have to rate us. So user experience basically deals with that usability of your digital products. It's been more around digital products than any other product, but what I do is around digital products, and we've been working on various digital platforms, the mobile applications, the web applications, internal applications for this particular bank, and it's quite exciting. It has a lot to do with understanding human behavior, and that makes it very exciting to do.
Okay, so if I have issues with an app, a bank app, because I use a financial app to do some business with, and the usability sucks. I won't say their name, but I'm like, how are you on the U.S. stock market and y'all have all this money coming, and your app is just I don't want to say disgusting, but it's like, it really bothers me. You even see me. You probably see me on.
Yeah.
I
think.
How can I get them to listen to me? How can one person say your app is below what I would expect from such a big company? I want you to hear my feedback.
Well, I feel like we're going to talk about this. I'm very passionate about it, but let's try and just limit the conversation. So the problem we have in this part of the world is a lot of institutions don't value the importance of feedback and user experience of their digital products. As long as the product is out there and it's working, that's good for us.
Yeah.
But we have to be very user-centric in how we build our products in this part of Africa. And the practice of what I do, user experience, is something that we need to take serious in this part of the world. Now, how could you as one person make that change? Any organization that is user-centric values feedback. So if you went there and provided this feedback for this organization, then they have to take it serious. If you came to me and told me the app you built is crap, I have issues here and there, I probably will have to pick that up, go and do further research around it, and then make the necessary changes that I need to make. That is how a user-centric organization will go about it. And so my advice would be probably go ahead and try and give the feedback to the organization.
But be nice about it. I'll be nice about it.
You could. So feedback comes. It could be negative, it could be positive. We take all sorts of feedback.
Okay, great. One last question about your job for the Beatz Africa audience. Are you working with a Ghanaian company and they just and they wanted somebody from Kenya? Because Kenya is very savvy in tech.
Yeah.
In components specifically. Did they want a Kenyan specifically from your country, or was it something that...
Well, that's where I'm about to let out the secret. So I work for a Pan-African institution, and it has footprints in a lot of the African countries. And so naturally it will make sense sort of to tap into the talent that is in Kenya to come to work, because the institution builds products centrally. So it will make sense to tap into the talent that is in Kenya to come and be part of the team that works on their digital products. But the field user experience is quite new. It's quite a new field. It's an expert field. You might want to consider that one. That's why probably when the opportunity showed up, I had to come to work in Ghana. Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
And one of the things we're trying to do is also to advocate a lot about growing it and raising awareness and inspiring and mentoring a lot of other Ghanaians here in Ghana to join into the practice.
Yeah, it's something that as a tour operator and a contributing member of the diaspora, sometimes we feel that customer service, user experience are not up to par, especially when you're dealing with spoiled, pampered Americans. So but user experience is something that if you want to make more money, you have to keep your clients happy, because the real wealth is not only in one-time usage, one-time hiring. It's for repeat customers and return customers, so that's how you get income flow.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's what we believe in, and we'll get to talk about some of the issues, sort of challenges we have in Ghana, and that service aspect is one area.
Yeah, we just keep it real here on Beatz Africa. Especially when you're talking. I'm from New York. I'm from the inner city, New York. I'm not from the outskirts and the suburbs of New York. I'm from the inner city, so I'm really not afraid.
Okay.
Okay, so we want to give time to our second guest. Please tell us your name.
My name's Yvonne.
Yvonne. Yvonne, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. How long have you been in Ghana?
I came right before COVID.
Nice. Good timing. Yeah.
So I ended up getting stuck here.
Wow. Congratulations. That's my origin story too. We'll talk about that off air. Yeah.
So I ended up getting stuck, and I really liked it. I initially came for school, actually. And then after being done with school, COVID hit, and it just made sense to stay, because, everywhere was locked down.
Where?
And I stayed. I'd initially come before and, loved the place. And I always said, I'm coming back to Ghana, That's where I want to settle. I love the weather. I loved, the peace. It's just security-wise. Like, I can leave my house at 2 a.m. and walk down the street, and I don't have to worry that, somebody's going to jump me or somebody's going to,
Nairobi is scary. But we'll talk about that later. At night, Nairobi is scary. Yeah.
You just have to be careful, where exactly you're going, You can't just get out 2 and just walk down the street and I'm just going to grab a beer and come back home or something, So, the safety, I just felt, let me just stay.
Yeah.
So I stayed and ventured into, business, and actually got a remote job. So I felt it would just be better to just stay. So I stayed and made a family here. I met so many other Kenyans living here. So I feel like, I'm home.
Oh, that's great. Quick question about the pandemic. Because Ghana, the way Ghana handled the pandemic and Kenya handled the pandemic, totally two different ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
How was your observation of that? And for those who don't know, Ghana kind of went with the universal mandate. Okay, vaccinations.
Yeah.
We are coronavirus. Where Kenya was no pandemic. The virus is a false. The virus isn't real. For the audience, for you at home. Yeah, but keep going.
It was, it was like a strange disease for everyone. So, I'm happy that I was living alone, so I didn't really have to struggle. Or I wasn't scared at first. It was more like, is this thing real? And you have to keep listening. People home telling you, it doesn't exist. What are you talking about? But then you see people falling down on the street and you're like, something needs to be done. Something actually needs to be done because, even healthy people are falling down and just dying. So I feel like maybe the Ghana approach was, I would say they took the right approach.
Okay.
I'd say they took the right approach because a lot of the African countries too, like, I mean, not to mention it. I'd say, okay, like Tanzania was literally slow and like, it doesn't exist. Continue with business. Don't even wear masks. I mean, everywhere is safe and everywhere is what. And I lived in Tanzania before, so that's the reason why I was like, people are dying. This thing is real. Let's be serious. Wear masks and, get vaccinated. Social distance, don't have to go to the club. But at some point in Ghana, it was more like people didn't really want to listen to like what the government would say. Stay home, you don't need to go out. Apart from when the lockdown was really serious. 2019 just beginning there or something. Then after they were let go, so everyone was let loose, go club, go party, go what. But most of the people were like taking precautions. A lot of people are taking precautions. I would say Kenya, I think when they woke up, then they decided now full lockdown. And I mean, when you've let people be loose for too long, now you want to cage them. They always find means and ways to, beat the system. If now you tell me, I can't go, even in Ghana it was like that. You'd find like they tell you if you live in Tema, you can't cross over and come to East Legon. But then you have like a nurse who has a boyfriend living in East Legon, so she's just going to like talk to a policeman and say, I'm going to work, And then they would ask her a simple question like, what's the normal body temperature? And she can't answer, meaning she just borrowed the nurse's uniform and then she's...
They usually asking questions like that?
Yeah, they were asking, Like the Tema police, they were asking. The story was online, so that's why I really laughed. I was like, how don't you know, body temperature? So that's what's the normal body temperature? She couldn't answer. And I told her, go back.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe it was a little bit stricter in Kenya. And before, when it came, everyone was enjoying. So when you now come and impose such strict rules, people are going to try and beat the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your experience like now in Ghana? Like, what are you working? Do you have a business? Are you still in school?
I have a business. I finished school. Actually, I'm doing a PhD online.
Oh, congratulations.
So, yes, I'm in school. I'm working and I'm doing a business. But for now, because of the flooding that happened the business is way in Togakope. So I literally lost everything. So I have to start. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. So you said you also do remote work.
Yeah.
What type of remote work do you do?
It's in cybersecurity.
Okay, so y'all pretty tech savvy IT people. You got some IT people here. So we had some tough. I don't want to say it on air, but we had some. You're aware of the tech difficulties we had. Yeah. Where were you then? You was just sitting here watching. Y'all couldn't even.
You mean during COVID?
No. Now about 45 minutes ago. I'm sorry. I don't want to say it loud on air. So that's an inside joke that we just shared on live radio. So please, I want to go back to you, sir. What are some of the similarities and differences? And I want you to include some of your experience in South Africa and also some of your experience in Kenya. I know you talked about the modernness of Ghana. Is there anything else that you feel like, wow, that not even better? Let's go with like anything that you feel is the same, anything that made you feel like home, or anything you see that's the same across all three countries.
Yeah, putting me on the spot.
Be free.
Yeah. So well, let me start by also saying that if I don't mention this, the listeners that I've asked to listen would be a bit...
Go ahead, be free, yeah.
I also happen to be the chairman of a Ghana community forum that we have here. It's called DC 48, which stands for Diaspora County 48. Kenya has 47 counties, and we're trying to, as Kenyans are, always, very innovative, trying to create our own county.
Yeah.
And we've named it the Diaspora County to represent the affairs of the diaspora people.
Wow.
Yeah. We want to push for the legislation for that, so that it becomes very official. We have our own governor and everything, so that we can represent the issues of the diaspora community. We have a large diaspora community, but I know it can't compare with Ghana. You know how Ghana diaspora is.
Yeah.
It's quite big. Well,
so DC 48K.
Yeah.
Is it Kenyan diasporans,
Yes.
or do you welcome all diasporans? I'm sure you welcome all diasporans.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it extends to all diasporans, but
Yeah.
the focus for now is mainly Kenyans.
okay.
Yes.
Do you have any other East African countries in your county?
No, not at the moment, but we have those that we associate with, especially now that we're here in Ghana. Yes,
Yeah.
we've associated with the Rwandan community. There's a Tanzanian sort of community here as well, and there's a South African community.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Are there any things in your bylaws or your goals or missions that you taken from Kenya that you don't really see too often in Ghana? Are there any things that you feel like, Ghanaian counties or communities should consider this also that we brought from Kenya?
I think, generally speaking, from my observation, and I was going to probably to also just speak to that, answering your question. The way we advocate for issues as Kenyans is different from how we do it in Ghana.
Like how?
We saw the various picketing that happened, I think, 2 weeks ago about the economic situation.
Yeah.
When we go on the street, we go on the street, and we mean it when we go on the street in Kenya. We are very vocal, and in our advocacy, I think a while ago you were talking about the Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Yes.
And she didn't get that prize by doing just routine picketing and staying about and watching things happening. She had to come out, and she was arrested. There was a lot that happened. And so we get very should I say physical, very serious about how we advocate for our issues. So perhaps maybe that will be the difference between how the Ghana forums are and how our forum is. Yeah.
Do you think that may have something to do with the characteristics of the people? Because sometimes...
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think you were saying the comparison. Comparing Kenya, South Africa to Ghana. So in terms of how the characters of people are, Kenyans are the most welcoming people. I will sell them. Kenyans are the most welcoming people I have met.
Are you Kenyan?
Yeah, I am very Kenyan.
Okay. Go ahead, keep going. Yeah.
Kenyans are most welcome. I haven't met any other better than that. South Africans are not as welcoming. But Ghanaians are way better than South Africans. So, there are various characteristics that are different, and being also in user experience, trying to understand human behavior, you see those various differences of society. I take it as the wonder of how God created human beings. So you find that Kenyans, in your own geographical location that was defined by some people in Berlin, you have a character that defines you. In South Africa, we have a character that defines us, and in Ghana as well. Generally, Ghanaians are very calm people, very calm, and I really love that about them. And they are very good at expressing themselves. Not vocal. Kenyans are vocal, but Ghanaians can express themselves. I tell a joke at work and say, I can never go to a debate to compete with expressing myself with a Ghanaian, because I feel like they know how to articulate their issues. Yeah.
And what I appreciate about Ghana, and I it took me years, to actually really learn it, is that Ghanaians can be angry and express their anger, and it doesn't turn into violence.
Yeah.
Where being in Black America or even other African countries that I visit to, a lot of things that I've seen Ghanaians get really angry and upset over would have been violent in many other places.
You know what we laugh about?
Yeah.
When you're in a taxi and there's road rage and the guys come out and they're talking, you're thinking, okay, so some blows, there's going to be some blows here, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
In Kenya,
when
the voices go up, blows must happen.
Yes.
In South Africa, you don't even want that voice to go up because you don't know what someone is carrying in their car. Because someone might just come up with a gun and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we appreciate that we know
yeah.
how to keep calm.
And this is a huge compliment that you're receiving, Ghana, because I'm just gonna repeat myself. A lot of things when I first got here that I knew that as a Black American, if this was happening in America, that's when you start hearing those shooting stories. That's when you start hearing those fighting stories and seeing the fights and the gunshots online. And it took me some time to realize, like, oh, these people get really angry at each other. And then after some time, they go back to being normal. And a lot of times, too, the issues get resolved. And that calmed me down a lot, being here, just seeing constant examples of people getting really angry and then expressing their feelings, and that's it. Ghana is listed as the second safest country in all of Africa after Mauritius. And that's part of the reason why. That's really good.
Yeah, so when I came, I think just to answer the question.
Continue, don't worry.
When I came, transitioning from the weather, there's winter in South Africa. So transitioning from the weather, like, okay, this feels quite home. Then the weather here feels like Mombasa.
Yeah.
I like Mombasa.
The weather here feels like Mombasa. And I'm like, oh, they eat similar food like us. So
what is something you want to talk about? I was going to use this opportunity to talk about, I think Kenya has terrible weather. Just my personal opinion. I mentioned it earlier. I think Kenya weather is terrible. And I won't say it to, we have our East African correspondent, he looks mad about that. Our East African correspondent, Boniface, gets mad at me too. But I think Kenya weather is terrible. I'm sorry. It rains all the time. It's cold at night. It's hot during the day. You got to wear shorts in the day. Shorts in the day, and you have to wear a coat at night.
Yeah.
Like, what if you leave 6 in the morning and come back at 9 at night? You'd be in two different areas of the world.
We get used to it. But by the way, I think that's just in Nairobi. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me let.
Even Masai Mara. I remember Masai Mara was so warm during the day, and at night we had to be in our tented. Privileged talk. I'm about to say some privileged talk. We're in our tents, our heated tents, and under the covers, cold. But all right, yeah.
No, we get used to it. I think bottom line we get used to it. It varies. There's some Mombasa is hot. It also gets a little bit chilly in the night as well. There are other places up north Kenya that it's very hot. Where I come from west, we don't have. It's not abnormal like that, like Nairobi. It's fairly stable. But Nairobi, every Ghanaian I've spoken to who's traveled to Kenya and went through Nairobi, the first issue they have is the cold weather.
We don't expect it's stereotypes. Yeah, we don't expect it.
Yeah. And then the second one basically is the food. Yeah. Let us speak about the weather a bit.
Yeah.
I've always, or rather, my friends always say it's Nairobi has bipolar weather.
Yes.
You wake up, it's sunny, and then in the afternoon it's raining. In the evening it's super cold. But just like he said, it depends. Just like in Ghana, Ebri is close to Nairobi weather.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's not. Abri is
cool.
cool. Abri is nice.
But it reminds
Nairobi at night is cold.
But Ebri can really get cold as well.
Well, it also depends when.
Ebri can really get cold.
I used to people, if Beatz Africa knows, Beatz Africa regular listeners know. I used to live in Ekrapon, and I actually lived in Abri for 3 months. It's nowhere near Nairobi cold. It's too different. Nairobi cold is cold.
When were you in Nairobi? Before you scare the Ghanaians.
October. You sound like Boniface. Boniface will be on soon. One time I went was October. I went January 2020, right before the pandemic. And then I went one last time March before the pandemic. So I'll say November, January, March. Closer to the rainy weathers, but still, yeah. I remember I had a layover one time in Nairobi, a 14-hour layover, and I got like a little not apartment, but like a renter motel, like real low thing, affordable place. And it was so cold that night, and I looked out the window and I saw people burning the garbage with the garbage cans and standing outside the garbage cans, warming their heads. I was like, yeah, it's cold here, man. I was like,
Well,
never again.
That's the winter we get. That's the winter we get in
Yeah,
Nairobi.
man. I'm gonna speak Ghanaian now. Yeah, manage.
Gladly you didn't go there in June, July, because
Yeah.
June, July is absolutely cold.
Okay.
At a point, I traveled with family and I forgot. I was like, no, we're used to cold weather.
Yeah.
And we get there with kids and we didn't carry any jacket. And it was cold. That was June, July.
So must have slept a lot. That's the only way to get away from the cold.
Maybe the advice we could give the Ghanaians is don't travel. Well, try not to travel to Kenya in June, July.
Well, no, travel to Kenya, but just be prepared for the nighttime. Know that at night you're gonna need like a sweater or a coat or something to keep you warm. Don't be caught by surprise, because Kenya, from nightlife in Nairobi to Masai Mara, I stayed in like 3 different Ambosselis throughout the country. I had a great time. I'll show you when I was chased by an elephant. It's on this phone. This is my old phone. My new phone's spoiled, but me getting chased by an elephant is on this phone. I'll show y'all before y'all leave. Yeah. But do you have anything else to say, Eva? You have anything else to say about the Nairobi weather before we move on to food?
It's just bipolar and
Bipolar meaning different. Somebody who's nice one minute and then yelling at you the next minute.
Yes.
That's bipolar.
So that's one thing to expect. You can wake up, it's cold, and then like at 11 the sun is out and it's scorching, and then the next minute it's back to cold, or it can just be raining the whole day. So it's more like British weather actually. I feel like it reminds me of London a lot.
Okay, so you're well traveled. Tanzania, London, now Ghana. Okay, we have South Africa, Kenya. Yeah, okay, Ghana. Okay, nice. I heard the food in the UK is actually disgusting. That's what I heard too. Yeah, that means yes. All right. That means yes. All right. I just heard it. I haven't had it.
No, she's just being careful. She doesn't want to miss her visa.
She don't want to lose her visa, right? So how do you like the food in Ghana?
The food is good, I would say. It's different. I mean, when I first came, it was very different because I was willing to try all the different stuff. I like some stuff and I don't like some other stuff because it's really, I just guess my palate is different, and I think everybody else's palate is different. But there's some of their foods that are just, I love.
Like what? What do you love?
Oh, fufu.
Yeah. Fufu champs.
And I like that they have different soups. They have groundnut soup, they have light soup, they have palm nut soup, they have what's the other one called? Okra. And there's a lot of foods that are similar to the Kenyan side, but it's just maybe prepared in a different way.
Like which foods?
We have ugali.
Ugali, yeah,
And
ugali.
they have
The green,
banku.
that's green, right?
No.
That's the white stuff.
That's the white.
That's the white stuff. So they have banku, but the banku has some fermented taste. But then I went to Volta and they had something very similar to ugali. So it's very easy. Yeah, I'm from a fish side, so fish is available, fish is nice, fish is and I don't want to get into the jollof wars, but I don't want to get into the jollof wars.
I don't know if Mami, Miriam, or anybody IBM listening. I was walking through Cape Coast just 2 days ago. Somebody stopped me and they said, I saw you on TV. I was like, oh yeah, thank you. They was like, yeah, you were eating jollof and you were judging it from the different countries. you ate all the jollof. So I was a judge for the 3FM Afro Connect Jollof Wars. And somebody just walked to me 2 days ago for that. We didn't have a representative for Kenya for the Jollof Wars.
Now you know.
Do y'all do either of you make good jollof?
No,
we have something very different from jollof, but yeah, I can make.
So Kenya doesn't have jollof.
We have pilau.
What's pilau? Please describe it for me.
Pilau is just like jollof, but the spices is what makes it pilau. The spices are very different from what the normal spices Ghanaians or Nigerians use for their jollof.
Can it pass for jollof?
Oh yeah.
It could. You've had biryani?
No.
So quite similar.
Very similar. Very
to biryani. If you go to some of the Indian restaurants here,
Yeah, okay.
they
They
sell
do have
biryani,
biryani.
so it's quite.
That's the skinny rice.
So it's skinny, but it's about the spices, as you
Yeah,
said.
the
Okay.
spices,
It's the
yeah.
spices that you put there, just like the way the jollof will have the color and whatever
the
you
color.
put in there. I'm not sure.
Tomato
What.
paste.
Abiam, do you know Pilali?
Pilau.
Palau?
Never tasted it?
We had, I always say I won't say the country. At the Jollof Walls for the Afro Connect 3FM event, it was one country, it was one Jollof. He was like, this is not Jollof. Or even the other two guests was like, that's not Jollof.
Yeah.
But I said, maybe it's Jollof in that country.
Yeah.
So if a Kenyan made Palau for a Jollof Walls competition, would they be accused of making something that's not Jollof?
See, I think jollof is jollof, but we're just looking at the similarities.
So Kenya could never be in a Jollof Wall.
No.
Okay. No? Abiam, no?
We cannot be in a jollof because it's not jollof.
Yeah.
It's just if you were to create something similar to jollof, then you'd have the biryani, then you can have the pilau, and it's just it has its own specialty. I'd call it special. It has its own specialties. Like even when it's been cooked, like the aroma. If you're walking in town, you'd literally stop like, oh, who's that cooking? And you need to go and try and taste this and see how it is. Then taste, and you'd be like, difference.
Okay.
It's different.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Okay.
And then you keep on going. It's really nice. It's
Yeah.
really nice. And you keep.
So if I came to a DC48 event, I'll get to try some Kenyan food?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you invite me.
Definitely.
Make sure you invite
Yeah,
me.
we try to bring that cultural aspect.
Yeah.
So that the Ghanaian friends of the community that we interact that comes to these events can also have a taste of
Try
our
Kenyan food.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'll be in Kenya. I'm already scheduled to be in Kenya twice next year, and I'm also looking to link up with our East African correspondent Boniface, who will be on in about 5 minutes. So I know you've brought up food the first time and said you was excited to speak about the food. What foods do you like here? What are your favorites?
Well, it's quite a number. But so when I came in South Africa, I think South Africa will be, I've not been to New York, but will be very similar to your New York lifestyle, where you don't get a lot of, fresh agricultural produce easily availed to you, like the way we just walk by and, we get our banku, our fufu with some tilapia and stuff. It's so when I came here, that was my life. Like you see Ugali once, we eat chicken that we bought from the supermarket, and everything was supermarket-like. But when I came here, I was like, oh, things that really, I can go to the roadside and get my bananas. I get my pineapple. So the fruits. The way the fruits were available reminded me of Kenya, and I really liked that aspect. She mentioned fish as well. So we come from the west of Kenya, and we eat a lot of fish from that side, tilapia. So I came here, and at that time I put up at the hotel for 1 month, and every meal I ate had tilapia. So I really like the fact that there's tilapia in Ghana. However, my favorite, this is funny, every time I say it, my colleagues laugh at me. My favorite is plantain and egg stew.
Oh, yeah, I love egg stew. I like garden egg stew. I like egg stew too, but I like garden egg stew. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. That's a good choice.
I could eat that morning, lunch, evening, every
Nice.
day. Yeah.
Who says you have to fufu, banko, but there's nothing wrong with garden egg stew. Yeah, garden egg or egg stew. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I like mine with rice. Yeah, but you said try it with plantain. Is that similar to yam and pabala sauce? Almost. Is it? It's not even similar. Egg stew is not.
Could be. Yam and palava sauce. Yeah, we see that. I also like yam, but I would prefer.
Well, I know yam and plantain are different, but the pabala sauce and egg stew is it similar to you, IBM? You say it's totally different. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but so
maybe to Ghanaians is different, but to non-Ghanaians is.
I would do yam with egg stew any day.
Yeah.
In fact, if I eat yam it's almost like I ate fufu. I don't like fufu.
Really?
Because fufu fills me up. And I'm sure some of my friends listening will be laughing at the moment. If I eat fufu now, I won't eat this evening, and I won't eat tomorrow breakfast because I'll be too full. Like, I can't take any more.
That might be healthy for the body, though.
Yeah, very healthy.
Yeah, but I just don't like the way it sits in.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, I forgot one other food, tozafi.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, we're supposed to be going to our East African correspondent, Boniface, so we're waiting for Boniface now. Michael, is Boniface ready? He's ready now? He's coming now? Okay, good. So we're waiting for our East African correspondent, Boniface. He does our Afro entertainment, and he's based out of Kenya. So I want to ask you a quick question about language. Let me ask you a personal question first. I feel like Kenyans can speak fluid English, but they just don't like to speak English. So, like, I could be sitting in a room with Kenyans, a lot of different Kenyans, and they'll be speaking Swahili, and they know I don't speak Swahili. But then when they finally speak English, they all speak fluid English, and they just didn't want to speak English because... Whereas in Ghanaians, they'll say, okay, he doesn't speak Tree. He doesn't speak Fanti. Let's speak English around him. So when I'm sitting amongst Kenyan people in Kenya, they speak Swahili or their local, their native tongue. Yeah. And then when it's time to speak to me, they just speak to me in fluid English to ask me whatever they want to ask me.
But you look Kenyan, so maybe they're assuming you actually understand.
Really? I don't think so. I don't think I look
Yeah, you look Kenyan.
I think I look West African.
No. You look Kenyan.
You look more Kenyan than
I look more Kenyan?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I hear.
maybe they assume. I would disagree with the Ghanaian thing because I went to Volta once for some Easter program, and they were all, even when they knew I didn't speak, they were all speaking. Then they were like, yo, you're antisocial. Why aren't you talking?
Did they call you antisocial?
What would I say? I can only laugh when you laugh. I don't know whether you're, selling me out or I just don't understand. But I have to. Even here, you'd sit down with people and be like, she doesn't understand. And so maybe it forces you to either try and learn the language or. I think they do it a lot. They do it a lot. Even when they know you don't speak, they'll just still.
I don't get paranoid about being sold out. I know we had a stereotype in the United States where amongst black Americans that when we have a lot of Latinos in America, and we used to always think the Latinos was always talking about us anytime when we were around. And then I actually went and learned Spanish. I speak a moderate amount of Spanish.
Wow.
And then I was like, I've never caught nobody speaking bad about me. And then the more Tree that I learned, it would be times where it'd be a group of people and somebody would be looking me dead in my face, like right in my face, speaking Tree. And when I started to understand the language, I'm like, yo, they not even talking about me or nothing. This conversation has nothing to do with me. Why is he looking at me, speaking at me? But what he's saying has nothing to do with me. So maybe that's a cultural thing that I can learn that I can. So don't be paranoid. Most of the time, unless you're in a dangerous situation.
I came to accept that they love their language. So when I'm with them, I've accepted. So it's either I take out my phone and maybe try and then when they remember, it's like, oh yeah.
I understand.
Speak a little bit English. Speak what.
I look Kenyan. I went back to that.
You
Really?
Kenyan.
Wow.
You look 100% Kenyan.
Wow.
Let me just maybe add a comment on this.
Yeah.
I think in my experience in South Africa is the same. When they're there, they speak their tongue, and I've come to find it's just how society is. You prefer to speak to your fellow mate in the language that you can easily interact with. For your experience in Kenya, I think there are certain conversations that probably are very juicy or sort that you just want to speak in Swahili. Yeah, and I even guess that's not even Swahili, that's Sheng.
Yeah.
They speak in the local, like our local, what's Pidgin. We have our local Swahili Sheng.
I didn't even ask. What did you say? Tribes?
Yeah.
What tribes are you two from? If you don't
We're
mind.
from the same tribe.
What tribe is that?
Luya.
Yeah.
Loya? Okay. Where the people from? Where the Loya people from? Like what part of Kenya?
From the west.
From the west?
Yes.
Okay.
West side.
Very close to, I must say this, very close to Obama's tribe.
Okay.
where Obama's father came from.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would make you. So Obama's people are the fish eaters.
I'm gonna be honest. To me, President Obama is Kenyan and white American. I'm Black American. So when they say he's the first Black president, I don't agree. So that's just me. So it's like, I know you're trying to make me feel cool. But, yeah, but keep going. His father's from Kenyan. His father's 100% Kenyan.
Yeah.
And his mother is 100% white American. So me as Black American, I don't look at him as the first Black.
No problem.
But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, so
don't worry.
We understand.
Before the U.S. Embassy saying, you need to get this McCrory guy.
We understand.
Yeah.
I would say I understand.
Yeah.
But he's one.
Yeah.
We most Kenyans feel very proud about the fact that Obama's father.
And it is something to be proud of.
Yeah.
For the continent. For the continent. Maybe it does more for the continent than it does for, my sect. Yeah. We're still waiting for our East African correspondent Boniface to come on live. So what languages do you speak?
Well, I know where you are heading. I speak Swahili, I speak Luya, English, and I hear a little of the South African languages because they are Bantu languages. So your Swahili, your Luya is Bantu, Zulu is Bantu, Sotho, Tswana, Xhosa are all Bantu. So you will hear a number of words are very similar. Nyama is nyama. Nyama in Zulu is nyama in Luya. Is nyama in Swahili. So yeah, you will hear when South Africans are conversing, you won't be in a strange land. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me. I'm trying to learn the French because we are surrounded by French where we are in Ghana, and that's it.
English, Swahili. I attempted to do German, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
I feel like maybe if it was started earlier in life, as opposed to you're forcing it down my throat when I'm in high school. I mean, I had 20 subjects to do in high school. I don't have all the time to
learn German. Yeah, you
do
do meet a German everywhere, but where will you meet where you really need to speak German?
Exactly. So I'd say, English, Swahili. I understand most of the Kenyan languages. I just don't speak.
Please, let me get one more story out before I go. We were at one of the stops where we supposed to have, before we went to, maybe it was right before Masai Mara, and we had to get out the car and show our passport, and they had to just register us before we got onto the reserve. And I'm an explorer. I saw some water, and I love the water. And it was maybe about, let's say, 200, 300 meters away. And I was going to walk over to the water. And then something said, don't do that. It was like a voice in my head just said, stop, don't do that. So the very next day, we're on one of our game rides. We go by the bridge where we go to register, and then we get closer to the water. There were alligators over by the water, hippos by the water. And I said, if you would have walked over there, you would have never came back. Something would have snatched you. So yes, Kenya is very dangerous, and I didn't know hippos was the most feared. No, this is a real story. They're really cracking up on me after they eyes closed and everything. I'd have been gone.
The fact that you're using that to say Kenya is very dangerous.
No. Nairobi is scary, but I'm a brave person. So, but I like Nairobi a lot.
There's quite a lot we could have said about Kenya that probably time will not allow. There's the tourism aspect, how affordable it is.
Yes.
The technology stuff that is going on there. Even
the
for those,
beaches.
the beaches.
We'll be sure to bring you back because we are starting a real focus on East Africa. Sure. So and then sometimes I tell the producers we can do certain countries more than one. We could do every country more than once. We just got to touch on the various aspects. So.